Hey there, Central Ohio. I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Michael Behrens alongside Aaron White.
Hey.
It's not a bad day outside today.
No, we got a lot of sunshine here today. It's going to be pretty nice and warm. Finally getting the warm weather that, we all love to enjoy. Yeah, it's going to be pretty decent, but there's some changes, though.
Yeah, there's some changes on the way. So get out and enjoy this afternoon because this is easily the best one all week.
Yeah.
We're up near 80, not quite so humid yet.
Yep.
A lot of sunshine. Perfect weather. That's your weather headline today.
Not ready for that humidity, but hey,
Yeah.
it's coming back.
It's
at some
coming
point.
back. We only keep it gone for so long, but that's why we say again, enjoy it while you can. Staying sunny and nice on this Wednesday, warming up into the 80s this afternoon, or at least touching that 80 mark for many locations out there. And then showers and storms, they return as we head toward tomorrow. Not a washout by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, you will have sunshine tomorrow. It is a factor of pop-ups from the humidity and the heat that we put together tomorrow afternoon. We're in that time of the year getting into late April, so be ready for that. Today, though, perfect weather to enjoy the afternoon with. We are seeing really nothing but sunshine throughout the afternoon, and it's been mild pretty much all day. We woke up this morning a little cool in the 40s and 50s, but as soon as the sunshine came up, those temperatures really started to rise. We made it up really into the 60s and 70s as we worked our way through the morning and into the lunch hour, and we're going to continue to warm up as we head through this afternoon. Your next 12 hours show those temperatures pushing upper 70s this afternoon. We're going to call that high temperature today pretty much right at 80 degrees here in Columbus. Some areas further to the south could make their way up into the mid 80s this afternoon. Sunshine, though, all day long. Anytime you're outside this afternoon and evening, expect to see the sunshine around, and that means you need a little bit of protection from the sunshine too. We're up to a UV index of a 7 for this afternoon. That's in the high category, and that's enough that you need to start thinking about at least some protection for your skin. We're talking SPF 30 plus. Make sure you seek some shade during the day as well. Our meteorologist Aaron White, he's going to have more on those solar impacts, our sun impacts, as we work our way through this show. When it comes to those precipitation chances out there, none for today. Again, we pop those temperatures up, our temperatures up tomorrow, and it pops our rain chances up too. We're talking that pop-up chance in the afternoon to about a 30% chance, 70% as we head into Friday. We'll see those temperatures start to drop this weekend on the other side of Friday's rain, and our rain chances fall down with it, down to about a 20% on Saturday. We stay dry for Sunday, and then we see a little bit of rain chance come back in as we head through next week. That forecast again today, looking nice, mostly sunny, 80 degrees out there. As we travel back to the west, though, we'll see our next weather system out there. Rain out in the west, eventually going to be making its way toward us here, but we got a little bit of time before that gets here because that first wave of rain we have tomorrow only going to be really pop-up driven in nature. Here's your hour by hour. We see those clouds push in as we work our way into tomorrow afternoon. Then come the pop-ups. These are going to be hit and miss. You know the type this time of the year. Don't expect to really expect rain unless you don't want it, then it will likely pop up near you. Those scattered showers again continue through about sundown. You may get a gusty thunderstorm in here, but we're not really expecting these to be long-lived or produce much chance for severe weather. So that's good news for tomorrow. These fade out as we head into the overnight, and then we're back into dry weather, at least for the most part, Friday morning. I think we'll have some scattered shower activity, but that'll only increase as we head throughout the day. This will be more of the widespread chance for rain, showers, some thunderstorms as we work our way through Friday afternoon into Friday evening. I think Friday evening, Friday night, when we're going to see the biggest concentration of rain push through. And good news is, I think a lot of this rain gets out of here before we get to Saturday morning, which means if you're running the Cap City Half Marathon, you don't really have to worry about dodging the showers, maybe just a few light sprinkles that could hold on into the early part of the day Saturday, but overall we are looking at a overwhelmingly dry day as we head into the weekend. In fact, we'll start there Saturday, that Cap City Half Marathon out there. Our forecast is still a few drops of rain that we can't rule out early in the run. But again, this is likely to be very few and very light and moving out. So we're back to dry weather as we head to the afternoon. Those temperatures out there not going to really make it much out of the 60s as we head into Saturday. We're only going to call that high about 63. Before we get there, though, lots of warm weather in place, 82 as we head toward tomorrow, but 80s in place for this afternoon. The warmest weather, no surprise, southern counties. We're going to talk mid-80s potentially for highs this afternoon. Could be as warm as 85 down in some of those southern counties. We'll warm back up pretty quickly as we head into next week. Those temperatures will push up into the 70s by Monday, and we are back in the low 80s by next Tuesday. Could again come with a little bit of a chance for rain by next week, but overall, more dry time than not in this forecast, Aaron, and a lot of almost summer-like temperatures out there.
Yeah, which is definitely nice. It's nice to see some sunshine. We know some rain is good here and there. We finally got out of the drought conditions here across the state of Ohio, so that's good. But also nice to finally see some sunshine.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely had the drought last way too long last year and all the fire danger that came with that. So the rain has been welcome, but now we're ready to get out and enjoy some of the weather.
Exactly. And, as we talk about the sunshine and everything, something we have to always think about is sunscreen, of course, and why it's good to apply that sunscreen, especially this time of year. And something that you might not really think about, because we're not really into summertime, is how quickly you can still get a sunburn. And it really comes down to the angle of the sun here as we go through the late morning hours into the early afternoon. And what's interesting to note about it is that the sun angle here in April, for the end of April, is the same as it is in August. So you're basically as likely to get a sunburn now as you are into the summertime here in August. Now, we don't really talk about some sunburns happening in the wintertime. Of course, we're all bundled up. It's cold outside. You're not really spending as much time outside. But anytime you have any exposed skin, especially as you get those higher sun angles this time of year, you can get a sunburn as that UV index is getting higher now into the 6 or 7 category, a little bit more moderate to high sunburn, and that could lead to burn time in as little as 40 minutes. So make sure you have, of course, the sunscreen, apply that higher SPF, especially if you haven't been outside for a while, and of course have the sunglasses and the hat, and just have a good time out in the sun. Now that we're here in the spring season, a lot of people heading out to the state parks, maybe the lake, maybe not getting out on the water as those temperatures are still cold for the water temperature, but still nice to enjoy. Yeah,
it's certainly nice to enjoy this time of the year. You never want to, I guess, miss the chance to get out when you can, especially when the weather's nice.
Yeah.
But do it safely, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. Do it safely and just have a good time. And as we talk about, some more of the storm chances that we have and more active weather, it has already been a pretty active severe weather season. We've had tornadoes confirmed across much of the country, including some tornadoes that hit over the Easter holiday weekend. This one, this is some damage video from a drone. This is out of Missouri. You can see the damage path there. It was an EF2 that was reported there as it tracked for us a few miles and did some damage there in parts of Missouri. Thankfully, we are not talking about any tornadoes here locally in Ohio, but something that I do want to mention, though, that was just recently confirmed here in the state. We had a new confirmed tornado just yesterday by the National Weather Service in Wilmington. That is a tornado that actually occurred back on April 3rd, and so they were able to confirm an EF0, so that now brings the total for Ohio up to 15 confirmed tornadoes here for 2025. Now, Michael, we were talking about it earlier today about how last year it was a lot more active. Obviously, it's never good that we're talking about any tornadoes, but thankfully not as wild of a year as last year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, by this point last year, we were well over 30 plus tornadoes. I mean, half of that, I'll take it compared to where we were last year.
Yeah, definitely so. And I mean, we'll have to kind of see how things play out. Of course, as we go into May and even into June, it can still be pretty active here in Ohio. So hopefully we'll get some quieter days than the active ones.
Absolutely. Stay weather aware. And of course, the environmental news is something we always follow here on the 10 Weather Impact Show. And unfortunately, the Environmental Protection Agency says they plan to fire nearly 300 workers. They are focusing on people who are working on reducing pollution in minority and low-income communities. They're also looking to reassign another 175 workers. The Trump administration is freezing funds for many of its nonprofits working with the EPA.
If we've done our part and you're not going to follow up your end of it, and you are the federal government, who can trust the federal government? Who can trust what you say?
The EPA says the cuts are in line with President Donald Trump's executive order targeting diversity, equity, and inclusion. So far, the EPA has canceled 400 of their awarded grants. And when it comes to this climate change and the stories we've been following, of course, this week, the passing of the Pope, he did actually speak on his views regarding climate change.
Unfortunately, we have gotten to a point of no return. It's sad, but that's what it is. Global warming is a serious problem. Climate change at this moment is a road to death. A road to death, eh? And it is an artificial climate change, no? Something provoked, not the normal climate change, right?
You have placed blame on wealthy countries.
In great measure, yes, because they are the ones that have more of an economy and an energy based on fossil fuels that are creating the situation, right? They are the countries that can make the most difference, given their industry and all, aren't they? But it is very difficult to create an awareness of this. They hold a conference, everybody's in agreement, they all sign, and then bye-bye. But we have to be very clear. Global warming is alarming.
That was Nora O'Donnell reporting for CBS News at the time with that interview. Of course, one of those impacts of climate change can be increased risk for flooding. And one way to fight back is with something called a rain garden. Michael George of CBS News explains.
The town of Woodbridge, New Jersey is known to flood during big storms. But the solution may be a small patch of dirt, rocks, and flowers called a rain garden.
So a rain garden is a shallow landscape depression. It's designed to capture the rainwater and hold it and let it slowly percolate into the ground.
Chris Obrupta is part of a team from Rutgers University that built rain gardens outside Woodbridge's municipal building, local libraries, all over town.
So how does a rain garden like this work?
Okay, so the water's shooting down the parking lot here, goes to the curb, travels along the curb and hits this structure here and goes right into the garden. The water will fill this up and will slowly percolate into the ground.
This one rain garden can collect 50,000 gallons a year. Multiple rain gardens can do even more. The idea caught the eye of Woodbridge's mayor, John McCormick.
So we looked into it. We thought it was a great idea. We started putting them on properties all over town. Now we have 11 and more coming.
They also have an added benefit, helping the environment. The plants and soil in a rain garden clean pollutants from water, so it doesn't seep into local streams and lakes. Obrupta says you can even decorate them with rocks and native plants.
Everybody could be doing this at home. Everybody should be doing this at home. It's a way for people to take personal responsibility and help save the environment.
It's good for other towns to see that a town the size of Woodbridge is doing this. And I think we become an example of what other towns can do.
More communities thinking the best way to tackle their flooding problem is one drop at a time. Michael George, CBS News, Woodbridge, New Jersey.
And keeping with the environment and our boomtown this afternoon, more people, more garbage. The Franklin County landfill is already running out of space as our area continues to attract more people and businesses. 10 TV News' Kevin Landers explains how much time the landfill has left, and if people don't recycle their waste, what could happen?
The life of a landfill is measured not only in years, but also in the amount of waste it can hold.
42 years feels like a long time, but it's really not.
42 years is the predicted lifespan of the Franklin County landfill if population and recycling trends remain the same.
If this landfill closes and we have to haul our trash to another community, that's going to get very costly for our residents.
There are no plans to build a new landfill should this landfill reach its capacity in 42 years. SWACO says it's determined to reduce as much waste as possible here to extend its life.
We really feel encouraged by the way residents respond to our recycling programs, that we're going to be able to divert a lot of this material and extend this life without having to site or look for a new landfill.
So do you have a permit to extend it beyond 42 years?
We do not.
While household waste like plastics and plastic bags make up a large volume of the rivers of trash here,
76% of the material that arrives here has the potential to be diverted.
Food waste is also a major contributor to this 200-foot-tall debris pile.
The average family of 4 in Franklin County is spending $2,000 a year on food that they purchase but never eat.
As our population grows, more people means more trash.
There are lots of opportunities to divert this stuff through donation or recycling before it winds up here.
Swaco sees a light at the end of the trash tunnel.
The good news is our population is growing, but the amount of material coming to the landfill has remained flat over the last several years.
400 million pounds of cardboard were sent to this landfill in 2019 instead of being recycled. Now it gets buried. Swaco says if that continues to happen, this landfill may not be here in the next 4 decades. Reporting from Grove City, Kevin Landers, 10 TV News.
And here's how you can do your part to keep recyclables out of the landfill. The City of Columbus has a website where you enter the item you want to throw away, and it directs you to who recycles it. We have more tips linked to Kevin's story at 10tv.com. And finally today, let's check out some new video into us here at 10 TV. First, a fast-spreading wildfire broke out Tuesday in Ocean County, New Jersey, prompting mandatory evacuation orders for residents in Ocean Township and several others. That fire started around 10 in the morning in the Greenwood Forest Management Area. The cause has not been determined yet. As of 10:30 p.m. Tuesday, the fire had burned 8,500 acres and was 10% contained. 1,320 structures were threatened and 3,000 people had to evacuate.
Just wild. I was watching some of that video on social media and stuff yesterday, just how quickly it all came about and stuff. And yeah, just trying to get a handle on that now.
And I mean, you can see the scale here from those helicopter shots. And I mean, just a lot of fire kind of burning and smoldering its way through there. I feel like it's been kind of the trend this spring and late winter is that these fires have popped up really everywhere across the country.
I mean, there have been so many. I know there was a couple in the Carolinas. There was some further west.
I think there was some like in the Long Island region of New York earlier too.
Yeah. So just kind of wild seeing how they're happening, and obviously they're trying to get a control on some of these bigger fires.
And thankfully, our drought conditions have alleviated here in Ohio, but we still have a lot of ground debris from the winter. If we get a really dry, windy day, we could see these type of fires here too. So just always use caution when you're around anything that could spark a fire.
Yeah, and I know that the Friday that when we got up into the lower 80s, there was an elevated fire danger because we had lower humidity. We had those strong winds, so we can still get some of those days, especially now that it's getting warmer.
Yeah, absolutely. Another good reminder to use caution out there. And over the weekend, another event where you would need to use some caution. This happened in Ciudad Juarez, Chihuahua, in Mexico. It was completely covered in dust and sand after a massive sandstorm hit the northern part of the state. Strong winds over 80 kilometers per hour swept through the city, leaving roads barely visible. Civil Protection Service reported damage all over the place, including billboards, bus stops, and other things that were ripped from the ground by the winds. This was near the Rio Grande. The dust was so thick, you couldn't even see the border wall.
Yeah, just watching some of that video there. I mean, just a big wall of dust getting blown in. And I mean, it happens a lot, in that part of the region in Mexico and even into the United States. But just, seeing that and how quickly it reduces visibility for drivers and just everyone involved in that area.
Absolutely. I mean, it's one of those weather type of things that you can't really do anything to prevent it. You can't really do anything to mitigate it. I mean, you just kind of got to clean up when it's done.
Yep. Exactly. So it's just kind of wild to see that, and hopefully we don't have to see that again for a long time out there.
Yeah, I mean, some of those dust storms too earlier this year, we had them actually impact us here in central Ohio. We had that dusty rain, you guys might remember. That was a result of something like what you just saw there.
Yeah, I was in Minnesota at the time, and we actually had the dusty rain as well, because you can watch it on the satellite picture moving across Texas and Oklahoma, and then just getting pulled up into those big storms that just moved across the entire country, really.
Yeah. You ready for an absolutely dad joke of a transition
out
of our show today?
Let's hear it.
You've heard of dusty rain, but it's time to hit the dusty trail. It's the end of our 10 TV Weather Impact Show for today. Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz will be back at 6 to track our chance for rain.